But yeah, one thing we're focusing a lot on is like quarter four, because quarter four, I don't know if anyone in here was doing Etsy last year, but if you were, you will know how insane quarter four is on Etsy, and you don't really do anything extra. Like, that's the best thing about it. Whereas if you're doing like Shopify or something, you're going to have to run more ads. You're going to have to add Christmas creatives, Christmas ads. You're going to have to change your website and do a bunch of different things. Whereas if you're doing like Etsy, and especially dropshipping on Etsy, you really have to do basically nothing and you just make loads more money. So it's pretty good. Like, really historically, so I've had like 2 Q4s now. 2 or 3 Q4s. No, I think I've had 3 Q4s on Etsy. Yeah, I've had 3 Q4s on Etsy. This will be my 4th. Fucking hell. But essentially, you're going to see like a 3 to like a 10x on your sales in this period alone. So it's going to be like really basically crazy. And you don't have to do any extra listings, anything extra special or anything like this. You literally just keep doing the same stuff and you just get 5x the amount of sales, or 3x the amount of sales, or 10x the amount of sales. It does depend on your product. I had some of my new listings taken down because they were already on the platform. Should I be worried? No, I wouldn't be worried. You only had 2 taken down. Just focus on changing the images as much as humanly possible. That is the main way that they track your listings. And then also focus on adding new products to the platform. This is the best way to do it. The best way to do product research as a complete beginner, well, the best way to do product research just with anything ever in business is to understand what other people are doing and either do one of 2 different things. Either steal it and bring it to a different location, okay? Or steal it, or steal the base idea and then find similar like products around that. Does that make sense? So that's the best way to do it. So in terms of Etsy, you can use the bestseller method, and in terms of finding bestsellers on the platform, you can take them and undercut their pricing. That does work. It is like a tried and tested method. It does work. But the best way to do it is to find those best-selling items. Find items that are doing well on Etsy already, and then go to AliExpress. Go to these different Chinese websites and find similar items. Items that aren't exactly the same, but are still within the same area of product. Because if you see a jumper for sale and you sell a slightly different but still very similar jumper, you're still gonna be able to take some of their market share, find some more market share, and just make money, basically. So yeah. As in, how many of these warnings you get before they suspend your account? So it really depends on kind of the health of your account. I've seen accounts get 100, 200 deactivations, like listings taken down. I've seen, and then they still alive, like they're literally still fine. And I've seen some get like 20, I've seen some get 5, you know, it really varies quite a lot. When first starting our store, how important is it to focus on one niche? Can I just list multiple unrelated products until I find a winner and then focus on that? So really what I'm going to recommend is stick to, I mean, you can do this. You can do this. Me personally, I don't think it's the most efficient way to test a niche. The most efficient way is to essentially do multiple stores and test niches that way. And then if you get 0 sales, you can always just switch and change the niche. Like, it's really that simple. It's really that simple. Just started this week, 6 listings for Christmas using print on demand. Looking forward to the journey. Sounds good. Sounds good. I would not recommend print on demand. I'd recommend dropshipping, but anything is progress. As long as you stick with it, print on demand will work. It'll take a lot longer than dropshipping, but it will work. You just got to stick with it and try and do new and interesting things based off stuff that's already working on the platform. Like if you see a print on demand listing, I don't know, people that love blue things. I don't know. I can't even think of anything. People that love blue things, right? And you create a POD store around that, you'll be fucking great. If it's based upon something that is already working, you know? There's lots of stuff in the wedding niche that works really well within print on demand. And there's a lot of unique ideas you can do with that. I did a store review on YouTube about cake toppers for weddings. These guys were running, I think they had like 300,000 orders across all of their 3 stores. And they were like insanely printing because it's like 70% margin. Do I need to constantly connect to my proxy every time I want to log into my new Etsy store? I've had a store ban before. Thanks, pal. Yes, every single time. So let me explain to you, like, so with Etsy, the reason why you use a proxy is because Etsy and every single website on the entire world tracks your IP, and it also tracks your MAC address as well. So it sounds confusing, but it is quite simple, okay? So your IP is the Wi-Fi address that you're logging onto. It's a special, I don't even know how many, it's a special number sequence, okay? Essentially, that is unique to your Wi-Fi, so you want to basically not use that ever again, and you want to only use one proxy. So this means when you're logging onto your Etsy account and when you're starting up your Etsy account, you want to use that new like if you've previously been banned, you cannot use that Wi-Fi anymore. If you've been using just your computer, logged onto your home Wi-Fi, and you got banned, do not use that same one again. Like, please don't. Like, that's how you associate accounts. That's how you run into problems. So if you have had that situation before, you have to use a proxy when, like, the entire time you're using your account, the entire time, okay? So that also means a lot of people make this mistake, is they're using a proxy on their laptop, and then they log into their store on their phone. But that completely and utterly defeats the purpose, like completely and utterly pointless, okay? And this is also why I recommend to use a software like AdsPower. So AdsPower is a great software. They don't pay me to say that, but they are, honestly, it's really, really great. Essentially, once you set up AdsPower, it also disassociates with MAC address. So each device, like I have 3 phones here. So each one of these has its own unique MAC address. So Etsy and every website on the entire planet can also track devices based upon MAC address. So let's say I logged into an Etsy store on this phone and it got banned. Essentially, I can't really use this phone to log on to Etsy again. Does that make sense? Maybe I over-explained that massively, but let me know, David, if that makes sense. So do you put Christmas in the SEO? So SEO doesn't really matter that much on Etsy, but what I do is if it is a Christmas item, like I'm selling a Christmas tree, obviously I'm putting Christmas in it. If it's just a normal item, in the description, I will add an extra line right at the top mentioning like the last days for Christmas, and I will put the keyword in there. But I will not change my tags. I will not change my title. SEO on Etsy just doesn't really matter as much as everyone on YouTube maybe makes you think. Like, yeah, they're all fucking idiots. Can the order preparation and shipping be automated so I don't have to handle it manually? Yes. I haven't made my first sale yet, but I anticipate there will be times when I can't manage it myself. Okay, so don't worry about running before you've even learned to like crawl, okay? Just worry about getting sales in first. You can automate it in the future, 100%. I'm not sat here typing out delivery addresses, okay? I have staff members to do that when it's needed to be done manually, and we have like essentially software that just does it for me automatically anyways. But this is one thing as well, don't worry about things in the future, you know? Don't worry about the things in the future. What is the Sans number 1 money printer? What is your number 1 money printer? My number 1 money printer in terms of cash flow is Etsy. In terms of like actually building long-term like equity, it's probably Shopify at this point. Dropshipping product, e.g. a curtain and PUD with unique base. I also have 2 stores where I am trying my own product. Print on demand is kind of basically is just dropshipping. I mean, the only way you can tell if something's like print on demand in terms of they've created the design is if you can't find it on AliExpress. If you can't find that exact product on AliExpress, then it is some element of customization to that product. Yo, I've ordered samples for a product, was going to be selling it at about £5. It only weighs 0.4 kg, but the shipping cost will be about £3.69. Got any advice on shipping services? My advice is when you have a lot of orders, how should I organize myself for Q4? So really, I would say the biggest way that I've like shot myself in my own foot in Q4 is not hiring enough customer service agents, because if you have a lot of orders, there's going to be some problems. Things are going to fall through the cracks and stuff like this. The biggest thing is to have that system on the back end good, and almost have too many customer service agents than too little. So I'd say that's the number 1 thing. And I mean, in terms of like what's a lot of orders, is a lot of orders like it's a bit difficult to give exact kind of things, but you don't have too much to worry about. I'm just going to say that the biggest problem I've always had is like customer service agents, in terms of being able to hire them, train them as quickly as humanly possible, while also trying to just deal with all the other bullshit. You're going to have a lot more problems. You have a lot more orders, and there's a time limit, right? That's the problem with Christmas, is everyone wants it before Christmas. So as people get closer and closer, you're just going to have a lot of problems. I'd say things like doing a final shipping day is very important. Like putting that at the top of your description, right? The last day to order for guaranteed Christmas delivery is the 20th or is the 15th or whatever. You will still get orders that people like hope it will just come for Christmas, but that's probably the most important thing I would say, like those kind of two things. Make sure your customer service is good and on point, because you're going to have a huge influx of orders, but also make sure that you can like actually like put that disclaimer somewhere in your description when it gets closer to the point. My customer ordered an item, then the supplier stopped selling it. I can find the exact product again. I can find the exact product again. Should I send an alternative or tell the customer and refund them? If you can't find that exact same product again, then the easiest thing is just to give them a refund. That's what we do. It's not really worth your time to then try and convince them on a different item. You can do that if you really need the money, but it's like £5, isn't it? I'm not allowed to create an Etsy account for my country, so I need to know how to make stealth accounts. Legally, it's kind of a bit techie to do that, but do you have any friends in a country that is allowed to make one? You can then tell your friend to make one and then switch over everything and do things like that. Don't sell a product for £5. Yeah, that's my number one piece of advice. Don't sell shit for £5. Basically, the reason behind going minimum like £25, minimum £30, like $30, $35 with any product you sell is purely because it's very difficult to make money below that point for like 2 points. Etsy doesn't matter that much, but like customer service wise, you just have so many messages. Poor people are the worst customers. And if you're selling stuff for £5, they're probably going to be cheap customers. So you're just going to get a bunch of bullshit and a bunch of problems. So I would say don't do something like that. If you were going to do something like that and it's very, very cheap, 0.4, 400 grams, £3.69. Really, like if you're not doing large quantities, your only options really like Every or Royal Mail. Really, the only way to do something really cheap and get really cheap postage is if you do large letters, which is like 5 millimeters in the maximum depth. Depth, I think is the right word. Depth. So really, if it's not like small, it's 2.5 centimeters. 2.5 centimeters is a large letter, which you can ship with Royal Mail. It'll be like £1.50. But if you can't do that, like things like necklaces and stuff, you can do that. Yeah. And then my dropshipping stores only have products that would be impossible to tell it's being dropshipped. Oh, that's good. Okay. That makes sense. That's super good. That's the way you should do things, right? Like once you're past the initial stages of dropshipping, once you've got that, like once it's good basically, or once you're up a bit and you've got consistent sales, you do want to switch over to full custom products, custom pictures in terms of you taking the pictures yourself, or you've got a professional photographer in China or wherever you're based to do those professional photos. Do listing with the return policy, get more views than listings that don't accept returns. Not views, but definitely orders, yeah. Just accept returns, bro. I mean, if you're based in the UK or the EU, legally you have to accept returns for 14 days anyways. I mean, I'm not one to like stick with the law, but it's just good business to offer returns for 14 days when you're selling things like this, like on the e-commerce world. It's just better to do it like that. And it's really not that deep. Like you'll see the thing is you're going to turn off, let's say 5% to 10% of your customers by not offering returns, but in reality, you're going to get like 1 or 2% returns. So for money wise, it makes sense, 21 listings and now I made 2 sales. Would I be better to up my ads to $10 a day to help things along more? Or is that not the way it works and just be patient? If it's fully spending $5 a day, then I would just go straight to $10, but only if it's fully spending. If it's only spending $1 a day and your budget's $5, just like you need to keep listing better products is really the best thing. Do you recommend only doing CSV orders with your private suppliers, as mine is always asking to put their integration onto my Etsy store, but I don't know if it's safe? I like using ShipStation. I don't like using the Chinese connection. It probably will be, if it's the Diaxamino, I don't even know how you say it. but it's the Chinese one. That I've not seen any negatives from doing that. Obviously with CJ dropshipping, and when that whole thing happened, there was a big problem. But the thing is, I mean, I like using ShipStation. ShipStation's a legitimate provider, and it's obvious, like it's obvious that you're not just doing bullshit. But yeah, I mean, my theory with everything and in business is like, if something is kind of working all right, then yeah. I sell personalized products and can't resell any returns, but not sure whether to offer returns on listings or have returns exchange results. Oh, I didn't realize you did personalized. If you do personalized, turn it off. You're selling personalized products, that's part of the allowed thing. That's reasonable for people, you know? Maybe you could add something in the description in terms of like breakages. I think maybe on the returns policy, you can do certain things if it's like unwanted. I'm not entirely sure though. What do you think are the possible causes of Etsy not utilizing full ad budget? I'm setting $5 a day, but Etsy only spends $1 a day. Yeah. So I've had 2 stores banned and have one working well. Should I get the ads power now? Yes. You should have had it before. What do you think are the possible causes of Etsy not utilizing full ad budget? I'm setting $5 a day, but Etsy only spends like $1 a day. And even in that, I barely get 2 to 3 clicks max per day. So if you're spending $1 a day, you're getting 2 to 3 clicks. That's kind of normal. That's not that bad. The reason why, like, and it's not, I think why, the reason why I know is, it's not like the possible causes. I know the actual reason why. So the reason why this happens, well, there's a couple of reasons. It's really because Etsy doesn't trust you just yet. So you're probably a new store. So Etsy just doesn't trust your store yet to spend and show your products to loads of different people so they can buy it, right? So they don't trust you yet, essentially. You don't have any good products. So your products aren't amazing, right? They're all right, maybe, or maybe they're shit, but they're not amazing. If they're amazing, then they would have gone to more people already. You don't have any like actual orders on your store, or you have very, very low orders, or you have no reviews or very low reviews. These are just essentially like trust factors. It will just come with a bit of time, and if you keep uploading great products. Another cause for this is if you don't have enough products. If you're doing $5 a day in budget, you want really like 10 products is what you want advertising. So Etsy has enough of a base to actually like advertise to, like figure out who it likes, kind of thing, you know? Hi, I have a final warning. Hi, I have a final violation warning on Etsy. What do I do? Are they going to ban me permanently? Potentially, yeah. But your store, I mean, NiceX, your store can last like 2 years on final warning. I've had a store that lasted exactly that. That covered my question about proxies. Appreciate it. Surely constantly using proxies on laptop, though, would cost a lot as you pay by gigabyte, etc. And uploading images would use a lot. So essentially with this, you can get proxies that are on a monthly thing. So you don't pay per gigabyte. So you can use different providers. If you get a dedicated residential proxy, it will normally cost you $3 a month. Like $3 a month. You can get cheap ones like 50 cents, $1. You can get expensive ones, but it's going to cost you $3 a month. So yeah. So could I use my phone's hotspot? Yes. So with hotspot though, you need to bear in mind, does your IP change? You need to bear that in mind. And also the problem with hotspot is if you have an employee on your store and they obviously aren't right fucking next to you, you can't use the hotspot. So it's not the best. And it's not the best if you're like hotspot's okay. Hotspot is treated differently, but you don't want to. I'm saying too many things. I've given away too much source. If your store is registered in one country and then you move or travel, is it important to keep logging in from the country where your store is registered? If you're actually moving, it's okay. I mean, traveling's not the best. Basically, like you can travel, obviously, like websites and stuff know that you are like traveling and you can move around. It's not the best. Really, for like $3 a month, just for the security, I would recommend getting a proxy. So I've had it before where I've been traveling and I was logged in, but it was a while ago. But yeah, essentially, just get a proxy, bro. You can do it, it's fine, but just get a proxy. Been thinking about going on holiday 28th to 16th. Would you recommend doing that? I can't take my laptop with me, and I want to perform Q4. Kind of FOMOing and overthinking at the moment. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you'll be fine. I mean, I don't know why you can't take your laptop with you, but it depends like how much you want money. It depends if you have stores already up and running. I don't know how to answer that. That's a personal, that's a thing that you need to answer yourself kind of thing. So I don't know if you should go on holiday, bro. I mean, me personally, I didn't take a holiday for like the first, I didn't take a holiday for the first like 3 years of running my business. To where do they send the returns? So